Hi guys. So my name is Dulce, and today I will be talking about the first blog that we wrote. The first blog was called Take a Side and Defend It, and we were asked to take a stance on whether or not we believed that society was more or less educated because of the increased access to news outlets and media that we have at our disposal. And I wrote that the level of accessibility to media and news in modern time is uncanny. However, it has not enhanced how educated society is due to inherent biases that people possess. So for me, being educated means possessing the ability to critique and question all sources, regardless or not if we trust them. That means we do the extra step and research where these sources were created, how they got their information, etc. And I feel that at this point in time, we're only consuming media that caters to our personal belief system. So if somebody's conservative, they might watch an outlet like Fox News. If somebody's liberal, they might watch something like CNN. And it doesn't make us any better than different eras or decades that didn't have access to as many news sources because we limit ourselves to news outlets that mirror our personal belief system. So I used two different sources for this blog, and the first one was called The Impact of Individual and Interpersonal Factors on Perceived News Media Bias. And the author of this report wrote that people usually highlight bias in a counter-attitudinal direction, which means that we only notice or fight back on an issue if it's directly attacking our belief system. And I said that my rebuttal was basically that if we truly claim to be educated, we would routinely inform ourselves with various news outlets, not just the ones that cater to our values, because it is important to understand why people think the way that they do, and how they got to that standpoint. And the reason that I chose this specific source was because it didn't just necessarily and then pessimistic note, it said that there are ways to have solutions to this particular dilemma. So for example, the author, it was Dr. Forrest, they said that one way to counterattack this was to defamiliarize ourselves with the frame of reference. So basically, by taking a step back and analyzing what's happening, we get to analyze something on a more objective level. And that's what the particular issue is right now, that we're not looking at things objectively, we're thinking rationally about whatever side that we think is against us. So the second one that I chose was Open-Mindedness and Media Bias, Education for Insight. So I wrote about a personal anecdote. So during the 2016 election, I thought Hillary was going to win. All my friends thought Hillary was going to win. And we come from Los Angeles. We all are from a really liberal background. So we were only looking at liberal outlets. And one of my friends wasn't surprised, and they said that a nonpartisan newspaper had already predicted weeks ago that Donald Trump was going to win, but everybody dismissed the data because it didn't align with their particular beliefs. And that ties back into what I said earlier about how if something attacks what we believe, we don't look into it. We don't try to question where's the data coming from, who did they look at, who did they interview. We just say, oh, that's wrong because it's not what I believe. So something that I would say about any objections towards my argument. If I hadn't written this, I'd probably look at the sources first, and the sources aren't from the last 5 years, so that would probably be my first argumentative standpoint, that my sources weren't recent, and how I would handle that was that the pieces that I selected and the quotes that I embedded into my specific paper, they didn't attach to any particular demographic that could have largely changed in the last 5 years. So it didn't say like 53% of this demographic in said state said this, because those are things that need to constantly be updated, and we have to look at that. They were more concerning the human condition and how our thought processes happen. And thank you for watching.